Dylan Rounds has been missing for nearly 3 months, and today his parents still have a lot of questions, not only about the whereabouts of their son, but also what's happening with the investigation. And joining me now in the studio, Candice Cooley, she is Dylan's mom, also Justin Rounds, Dylan's father. I think we spoke, 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's crazy how fast time has gone. First of all, how are you guys doing?
We're holding up, pushing forward. Just keep them focused.
And what has that focus turned to going into month 3?
Getting a new lead, law enforcement lead agency in Dylan's case. That's where we feel we're at.
So let's set it up. Law enforcement, the lead agency has been the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office in Utah. Dylan disappeared. If you're just tuning into the story, he was living and farming out near the Utah-Nevada border and in Box Elder County, and they began investigating when he first disappeared. Yeah. And frustrations have been building on your family's behalf over the past, kind of since the beginning. Am I right to say that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So walk me through what some of those frustrations have been.
So when we first got out there on May 28th, day one, everybody knows we find Dylan's boots. Justin and I go out and we look at them, and clearly they're Dylan's boots. Neither one of us had any doubt in our mind. They were thrown on the back of one of their side-by-sides, and the search just continued like nothing out of the ordinary. So as time went on, so search and rescue, they stayed the first night. They came back the next day at about 7 a.m. They searched until about 2:30, probably 3 o'clock. They were actually stationed on the property that Brenner was squatting on, and we were told we're going to move base to Lucin Pond because we're irritating Brenner. Now, part of what people need to know is Brenner had an arrest warrant at this time. Yes. Box Elder County knew this. He could have been arrested day one. I believe it would have been the 10th. It was the day I was in Elko. I believe it was June 10th. They finally arrested him on that warrant. So you have a violent criminal who we now know. So, he's got an attempted murder charge. He's got all this stuff. He's got a warrant. You have a missing 19-year-old. It's all within 100 yards of each other. And you don't even think let's go ahead and execute this warrant because we can take this guy to jail right now.
James Brenner was squatting on property near where Dylan was.
Yeah.
And has an extensive criminal history, violent crimes. And you're saying when the cops first went in there, when you guys first reported Dylan missing, they should have done something with James Brenner.
Yes.
But they waited 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then even when they finally did, he was out the next day and they still never searched his property. So Dylan's boots are found. The next day, Lucin Pond, they move out because they don't want to, annoy Brenner. They did not just move base. They just pulled out. They were done. I mean, 4 or 5 guys stuck around that really helped.
A few of those guys came out a lot and did a really good job.
There was some
with the search
that
and
were
rescue.
Great. So that was the day, Tuesday, that we got the phone call that Dylan was being held hostage in Montello. And so we all took off. Part of the Box Elder County Sheriffs and a few of the search and rescue guys were standing at the pond. We stopped to give them a flashlight battery back that they'd loaned us the night before, told them what was going on, and I was told good luck with that.
Who told you that?
One of the sheriffs. I don't know which one it was, but those were the exact words I got, was good luck with that.
When you mentioned that your son was being held hostage?
Yes.
The deputy said good luck with that.
And then Justin had to call him, and I'll let you tell him about your conversation with Blower.
Well, I just called and told him I was going to do something if they didn't show up, and had him give me his word that he would get a hold of Elko to get them to come, and then they said they'd come, and we waited. I gave them a little bit of time before I went into the house myself, and they ended up showing up. And
the house where you were told Dylan was?
We thought
Yeah.
Dylan was.
So you called Box Elder and said, you better get out here, or I'm going to do something myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure Elko comes.
Well, Box Elder did not ever end up coming, nor did they end up calling Elko. I called 911, and we got Elko out there. When Elko came out, they came out with 6 deputies And they waited till they all got there because they weren't aware of the current situation. So I make a 911 call and say, you know, our son, we found him. They have no clue who or what we were talking about because Box Elder never called.
So Dylan obviously wasn't in that
No.
house.
No.
So that was one frustration, and then there's been a few more.
Yeah. So moving forward, so now that Box Elder released it on NamUs, we all know, yes, the key fob did come back.
So let's talk about that. There was a key fob that originally was not in Dylan's truck when you guys searched it.
Yes.
Correct. It wasn't anywhere. We couldn't get it in his pickup.
This was the key fob to his truck to get it
Correct.
started. So then it appeared.
Right, in his camp trailer.
How, do you know the time frame?
When we were in Montello at the supposed Dylan's kidnapping.
So this is information that the family, you all have known since the beginning.
Correct.
Yes.
But law enforcement have asked you to hold it back.
Yes.
And this is common in a lot of cases where the family, the police know more than the public because they don't want to tip off whoever might be involved, you know, what you all know. So you've been holding that secret as they've asked you to, but then suddenly a report comes out last week or the week before.
It actually came out July 28th.
Oh, so it's been out for nearly a month now.
It's been out for nearly a month before I knew what was, the 12th is when I emailed Box Elder and said, what the heck is going on?
And this was a report to a law enforcement agency?
So it was on NamUs. So on NamUs, there's two ways you can do it. You can log in as me and Justin could have a login and report a kid missing, and it has to be approved. Law enforcement can log in, and it can be made to where only other law enforcement agencies can view it. The detective that did it just put it out publicly.
So anyone that had a login to this web, or anyone period,
Anyone, period. You don't even need a login.
could see on this report that about the key fob.
Correct.
The key fob was not there and then it appeared.
Yeah.
Which was part of the investigation, but now it was public.
Okay, exactly. So this is our other frustration. So this happens on day number 3, Wednesday. Still, they don't even think, they don't treat anything suspicious. They don't start thinking, okay, something's not right. Like somebody's bringing this kid's stuff back now and he's missing. No, nothing. They just continued on their merry way.
Did you all think something was
Yes.
I thought something was wrong since the day we saw the boots, the minute we saw the boots.
wrong? Not that Dylan just ran away.
No.
Somebody else
He
was
never
involved.
ran away. I knew that from the very beginning, before we even found the boots. I knew he wouldn't have just taken off.
And then when the key fob appears,
Yeah.
you're saying
Yeah.
something isn't
Yeah,
right.
and so at this point, we're starting to get a little bit of information from the detectives. Not really much of anything, but they would separate us. So they would tell him something, and then they'd pull me aside and say, okay, now I'm going to tell you. They would not do it together, which we could not figure out because then we were so frantic and exhausted and emotionally exhausted. Then we would get talking and we would think we were confusing stuff because they wouldn't talk to us together.
Do you think they thought you were suspects?
It's a possibility. I'm sure everybody's suspect, you know what I mean?
But no interviews were conducted. Justin and I have never been interviewed.
This was just to pull you aside
This
to
is
talk.
just to pull
This
you
wasn't
aside.
a formal interview.
No,
No,
we've
no,
never
it
been
wasn't
given a
that.
formal interview. No, Don wasn't who's on the property. Brenner wasn't. None of the neighbors. None of our nobody. Nobody was formally interviewed.
And you would be open to doing a formal interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was open for anything.
Yeah. So that's when I was told. So then the one detective took me for a ride out to Dylan's camper in the SUV, and I was told, did you know it was blood on the boots and it is your son's? And I said, no. The boots were not even at the lab. He lied to me. He lied to me. Those boots did not go to the lab until June 6th. They stayed in the SUV. I was told that by Detective Blauer. Those exact words. That was after he had talked to Justin, and then he took me for a drive. This is what we've been dealing with. This is why our first frustration started mounting when we started screaming, and that's when they brought in the FBI offered assistance, or they asked. I don't know how it happened. So then as this continues, Weber County came out that Friday, which was great. They did an amazing search and rescue team. And then it was that next day, I asked one of the Box Elder sheriffs, I said, when When do we call for a public search? When do we got all these people we're holding back that want to come help find Dylan? And he said now would be a good time. So then that Saturday we held the search. We probably had 300 people. No help. No deputy assigned to us. The only deputy that was out there told me our son's case would resume on a Zoom meeting at 11 o'clock Monday, and I lost it on him. And so he ended up leaving. No help organizing, no help trying to keep people safe, no help on this is how you search, nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine put a post on, he put a post on Facebook just asking people, if you're going out this weekend to ride your side-by-sides or whatever, just come up this way. And we didn't even know where to send people, what to do. And
We have no clue what we were doing.
we had a lot of people came, and it was really awesome that people would come and do that. And we covered a lot of ground, but we were just blind, the blind leading the blind. It was,
You don't have experience
Wait.
organizing these huge
No.
searches.
oh, we had no idea.
So you have written, is it a letter?
Yeah, so it's a letter demanding and the reasons why, and then the timeline, and I sent you a copy of that, and that's, I finally had to stop because I could just keep going. There is so many places they dropped the ball on Dylan's case. I mean, they didn't even call it criminal until the 15th of June, and they had no more evidence than we had on day 3. They had the same amount of everything.
It was so frustrating at the beginning, and then I just kind of told myself I just got to have faith that they're doing what they're doing, and I've just kind of been hoping and praying that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, and I've kind of been dragging my feet on doing what she's wanting to do, but we haven't talked to him at all. I don't know anything that's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, how often does the sheriff's office communicate with you?
Never. So they've made it to where our FBI agent is our point of contact, and he's great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's straight up, but he's not lead. He's basically, I feel like especially, he's basically just been sent in to talk to us, and I mean, and he, like I said, he has done an amazing job, and he is working with EquiSearch, but he's not lead. So if Box Elder can't even communicate with us as parents, that can't even give us the time of day to pick up a phone once a week, why are they even working his case? Because there's no point. This is absolutely ridiculous. We should not have to beg for everything in this case.
It's been that way since the very beginning.
And you just want, like you said, pick up the phone every week, even if there's no update, some sort of communication.
Something. And
It doesn't matter where we go and who we talk to. You hear anything new, and I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't heard a thing. It's kind of frustrating. Anyway, it's very frustrating.
And your letter is calling for them to hand over the case to the state of Utah?
yes, and the FBI will assist the state of Utah.
And as far as you know, could that be possible if Box Elder decided to say,
Absolutely.
we're going to do this?
And I've left multiple messages for Blair Wardle. There's 2 attorneys, I believe, from what I've gathered from other people and other agencies I've talked to. They're the ones who have guided me into this direction. From what I understand, he's the one with the power that can say, okay, we're turning this over to the state. I've left multiple messages for his office, and I've also sent the email to their office. I sent that email a week ago today, and I have heard nothing. Radio silence, not a peep. So now you're calling them out. They know we're going to come public with this. They know, I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's hours of it to go through of what they've done to Dylan's case. Just turn it over. You had no interest in the beginning. Why are you hanging on to it?
Is there any reason in your mind why you think they might not be communicating with you? Why they might be holding all these things close to the vest?
I have no clue. I don't buy it's because they have all this stuff that they don't want to tell us. Because they could tell us, hey, we got a lot, we're building on this, and we just can't tell you. That is an easy communication. I don't believe they even have that, and so it's almost like they're scared to communicate with us because everything went so wrong in the beginning on how they handled it. They probably lost a lot of what we could have had right there in the very beginning.
They did, no doubt.
I mean, you had hundreds and hundreds, of people all over that place before anything was ever processed, before anything was ever looked at, letting us take Dylan's pickup home. I still have the text message on my phone from the detective who I asked, can we take his pickup phone? And I was told, you folks do what you need to do, okay. And those are the exact words on my phone. Letting the grain truck go. That was
I didn't even know the grain truck had left.
Yeah, that was the first.
What do you mean letting the grain truck grow?
They never.
What happened?
They never processed it. They let us take it home.
Bonneville County processed
Yeah.
it. In fact, we used it for harvest, and it still got all the stickers of the measurements and.
Yeah, but nothing was
stuff on
processed there on the scene. Nothing.
Did an ISP
Bonneville-
also
ISP
process the truck?
The pickup.
Yeah, ISP in Bonneville County
Yeah.
came and did a lot. They did a lot that I don't know that they had to do, but they were. I wish
Willing to
Box
help.
Elder would
Yes.
learn a little bit from them.
Do you know, did anything come back on the truck or the grain truck that you can say?
Not that. I mean,
No.
no, nothing came back. It's not anything that we can't say. Just nothing came
Nothing
back. But
came back.
once again, it was so long before it was processed.
And that maybe they haven't told us.
Yeah.
The pickup's still gone.
So your one wish, your one hope now is get this to another agency
Yes.
that will communicate with you and will maybe get fresh eyes on the case.
Yeah, maybe a little more competent than
Yeah,
the way I
well-
feel Box Elder is.
And just another example is that search warrant that Elko executed last Monday. I talked to Lieutenant Fisher. I knew that warrant was signed. It was at exactly 7:22 last Friday at night. Box Elder had sent over a warrant to get that property searched, and we'd been screaming about that property for a month and a half. Elko wouldn't execute Box Elders because it had no probable cause. It was a joke. And they would not go on that property and search without the proper warrants. So Elko worked on it, got their own warrant. So on Monday, it was an Elko warrant that they executed. It had nothing to do with Box Elder because Box Elder counties was a joke. And we were never told that they were declined a search warrant. We were never told any of this by Box Elder. They didn't say, hey, we're getting a search warrant to get to Elko to search this property. We had no clue.
I didn't even know they were searching it until I just got a bunch of messages from people, and I looked on Facebook and saw that video. Other than that, I didn't have a clue.
And nothing was found in that search. There have been a few messages we've gotten, I know you have too, from people that I want to ask you directly to hopefully clear it up. Was the grain truck searched for Dylan?
Yes, absolutely.
And nothing was found?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, we can put that one to rest. Are there any creeks, rivers, streams, any bodies of water nearby that he could possibly be in?
Just Lucin Pond, but it's
Lucin
been
Pond.
went through
It's
already.
been searched?
Yes.
They
And
searched
nothing.
it inch by inch.
Yep.
The guy was down in there walking through the whole thing.
The other question I know we've talked on before is the two suspects that are in jail on unrelated charges. They haven't been charged in connection to Dylan's disappearance. What do we know about them and what's happening with them?
So Chase Venstra has never been called a suspect. He has not been named a suspect by law enforcement. We truly know nothing. I have asked, I can't tell you how many times, have you cleared him? Is he, which is it? I don't know. They won't tell me anything.
But he's in there on gun charges.
He's in there on gun charges. Brenner, he is the official suspect. There is some more stuff we know about him that we can't release that's made him that suspect. But once again, it's all the stuff we had in the beginning.
Yeah.
It all started right there where Dylan parked his truck and Brenner was squatting everything we had in the first 3 days.
Have you requested a one-on-one meeting with the sheriff?
I don't even know how to get a hold of the sheriff. I mean, we got his email, but short of the one day I met with him and his wife, I've never spoken with him.
I've never once talked to him.
And that's the other thing. People keep saying, well, they should have a victim's advocate, right? I have no clue who that is in Box Elder. I didn't even know they had that stuff. I keep hearing
didn't
people
either.
saying to me, well, what about the victim's advocate? Well, what about him? That's never been offered to us.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. That's the problem.
And I don't even know what that person does. And frankly, if they're part of Box Elder County, I want nothing to do with them. when it comes to Dylan's case.
Yeah, a lot of larger jurisdictions have these victim advocates that is your go-between, the liaison between the family. Even some smaller jurisdictions do. It's becoming more and more common. So you're saying just give us someone that can communicate with us so we know what is happening.
And at this point, it's not the communication. That boat has sailed with Box Elder. It is turn it over to the state of Utah and let somebody handle Dylan's case who's going to treat it with the attention that it deserves. Box Elder County cannot redeem themselves at this point with me. There is no way. There has been so much more than we can ever touch on in one interview. I absolutely have no faith in them as a department, as a whole department. I want nothing to do with them.
So when I ask you what's new with the case, you can say you don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. We can honestly say that. I mean, I know the stuff that our FBI agent's working on, and like you said, his communication is amazing, but he is not lead. And Box Elder County, obviously, it just fell into their laps. You know, I don't know if they just want to hang on to it to say we have it, but they're over their heads. They don't know. I mean, we get told we don't know how to pull text messages off a phone, or we don't know how to do that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I do know that 2 news agencies, at least in Utah, Fox 13 and ABC4, contacted the sheriff's office. Fox went to the sheriff's office hoping to get a comment about this last week, and they had no response. We'll, of course, reach out and let you know if they give us a response. In the past, it's been mainly email saying, there's been no updates.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what else do you want the public to know? What else does the public need to know about the case in general, about this specific?
Well, I know a lot of people think that Justin and I get a lot of throwback, like, why don't you guys want people out there? Why don't you want people looking for Dylan? It's not that we don't want people looking for Dylan, but what little bit could be left out there, these YouTubers who say, oh, this is Dylan's farm, we're out here filming this, we're looking for Dylan, they are not looking for Dylan. They are looking for YouTube hits, and they could potentially destroy maybe that one little thing that was missed, that when we get a different agency to go out there, could find.
We have cameras out there, and I'm thinking about pressing charges on people that are trespassing
Yes,
on the property.
we will
I've seen
absolutely. We're done.
some people from Montello, I have pictures of them, and I'm going to figure out a way to start pressing charges if they're coming on there. There's no reason for them to be there doing YouTube videos, and it's private property.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a speck of something that somebody steps on. That could be the smallest key. These people are ruining that, and it's infuriating. It's not because we would love to be out there every weekend tearing that desert apart, but we did that for over a month.
Yeah.
Dylan turned 20 a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I noticed you had asked people, those that were interested, to plant some seeds in his behalf. Obviously, he's a farmer. And you went to a few different places, didn't you, and spread seeds all over.
Yeah.
What was that day like?
Oh, it was quite the day.
Yeah.
When she came up with the idea, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, they'll never sprout in time. I was just, I don't know, wasn't a whole 100% on board, but it's been a really neat experience.
Yeah,
it was pretty neat. I've never noticed so many sunflowers in my life as I have this year.
Yeah.
And the response from the people is just amazing.
Yeah, and that's, Dylan's got a whole world out there looking for him. So that's our that's what we can do right now. We can't be on Dylan's farm disturbing stuff. We can't. So we're keeping awareness, and we're never going to give up. We'll bring him home. So we need people to respect the stuff that needs to be preserved.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, here's hoping that the case progresses and that you all can get some answers. And please keep us posted. I know you will. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.